Hey guys, so this is just going to be a review on one of my newer shotguns, the Benelli M4 12 gauge semi-auto shotgun. Before I purchased it, I went online and I looked up videos of my own just to get some reviews and get some different perspectives on what to expect and ultimately whether or not it was actually worth it, because as everyone knows, they do cost a pretty good penny. Uh, I got mine before the whole pandemic thing started, and that's when guns were plentiful on the shelves. But now apparently all the guns are flying off the shelves. Uh, Not to mention all the nicer ones. So in the store that I purchased this, there's little to no shotguns left. So if you do end up coming across one, I'd highly suggest that you give it some thought, because over the years I'd seen them, but then I also had seen the price, and yeah, the price is enough to make anybody shy away from them. But I will say that it is worth every penny if it's possible to do that. 100% love the shotgun. Um, I used to not be a shotgun person before I purchased it, although I did want a home defense shotgun. Now, this is one of my primary guns that I end up taking to the range. I actually, enjoy shooting this shotgun at the range, which I never thought I'd say I enjoy shooting shotguns, but it's just a dream to shoot. Variety of reasons for that. Some of them are due to some upgrades, but the gun right out of the box is very easy, a very good shooter. So without further ado, now let me let me just give you a disclaimer. Not everything that I've done to this shotgun will you agree with. I'm not really asking for comments. I'm just showing what I've done to it. Have I spent a pretty good penny on some of the accessories? Yes. Have I also, pinched pennies and got some cheap things? Yeah, not that much, but we get into that. So what I really don't need to hear is, oh well, for the price you paid for that, you could have gotten 2 or 3 of these shotguns. That's why I have this peanut gallery response. So because I have a little one sleeping in the other room, I'm gonna keep this a clean video. So we'll just do that. Oh yeah, look at that. So for any responses, there you go. So one thing that I get a lot is, yes, why'd you pay that much? Why didn't you just get 2 other shotguns? Well, that's kind of dumb. Why would I buy 2 shotguns rather just buy one? But you don't drive up to somebody in a Mercedes driving a little Honda and say, hey, why'd you pay all that money for that? My car, gets me from point A to point B. Yeah, sure, the shotgun does sling shotgun shells the rounds downrange. If that's all you're basing your purchase on, yeah, you should probably stick with whatever it is that you're buying. I'm not knocking any other brands. There's a lot of other good brands out there, but don't think that you're really going to tear down a top-notch shotgun and say, "Oh, it's not worth it." It's 100% worth it. Everybody knows that. So let's get into some of the features. Now, the weight of it, yes, there are some other shotguns that are lighter. Granted, there's a lot of other shotguns that are lighter in many ways. There's also other shotguns that are heavier. So does it have some weight? It's a shotgun. Yeah, there's not a lot of places that you can take weight out from. Sorry, you're not going to have like an AR platform. You're not going to have a pistol version of this. So forget about that. I wouldn't even want to shoot a pistol version of that. Now let's start at the back and work our way forward. So it is quite a long gun, so I'm going to try to keep the camera in focus as best I can. So in the beginning, or in the back, now this is, move this all the way. In the back, this is going to be one of the first upgrades I did. That's the Mesa tactical shotgun stock, specifically made for the Benelli M4. Now they also have them for the other variations of Benelli, the M1 and the M2 as well. This one is for the M4. It's identical to the other ones, but it's apparently attaching it to the M4 is different than attaching it to the M1 or M2. Couldn't say I haven't had one of the other versions. This is the M4, so now the original stock is here. One thing you will notice right off the bat, yeah. So if we are to compare apples to apples here, you will notice one distinct difference. Let's do it this way. Yeah, the stock is going to be about 2 inches shorter. Mesa Tactical is going to be about 2 inches shorter. Is that a good thing? Yes. It's definitely a good thing. For people with shorter arms, little T-Rex arms, hey, look at that, perfect. You got a shotgun that you can fit now. You could get the collapsible stock. I had looked at the collapsible stock. However, no, I'm sorry, there's no response for that. But I had looked at the collapsible stocks. Those things are, for the Benelli, for several $100s for the actual Benelli collapsible stock. I'm not buying a cheap version to go on the Benelli. Not happening. I have seen some absolute travesties on YouTube and in pictures of people modifying their Benellis. I saw somebody using a C-clamp, little tension clamp to hold on their light. Somebody else had electrical tape holding things on. Come on. Really? No. Don't do that. There's nothing wrong with this stock. However, there's always room to upgrade. The Mesa Tactical, the main difference, yes, it is shorter. However, it has what they call the limb saver butt pad. And this thing feels like jelly. Not really jelly, maybe a couple week old jelly, because it's okay, it's not that squishy, but it is much squishier than the normal stock butt pad is. It is soft enough and squishy enough to the point where when I shoot this now, I walk away from the range, no bruises, no nothing. It doesn't even bother me when I shoot. So I can shoot this thing all day and have no issues, no matter what I'm shooting. It makes it so much more enjoyable. Offhand, I want to say this is probably a little over $100 for the stock. So, but it comes as one piece, comes with a pistol grip and the stock, and it also comes with a little cheek riser. Not a huge thing. It makes it look kind of cool. It does move around, but yeah, not a huge selling point. Doesn't really do a whole lot. I suppose if you had big sights or something on there, maybe, but aside from it looking cool, it's not really raising your cheek up that much. So, moving on. One thing you should know is that if you decide that you're going to swap out that stock, if you swap out the original stock for the Mesa Tactical stock, it's going to tell you right in the instructions. And again, there are videos on how to install this, or just read the instructions. But you have to put the trigger assembly back in before you put the stock back on. Normally, you can take the trigger assembly off and on. Doesn't really matter. But know that once you put this stock on, this trigger group is going to stay in there until you loosen and take off that stock again. You're going to notice that little tiny lip right there. That's going to be just enough to hold the trigger group in, so it's not going to pop out. Would I say that's a downside? Yeah, not so much. I mean, if you needed to take off the stock or loosen it up, and then you can do that. The stock comes off and on relatively easy. It's not to the point where I would say, oh yeah, let me just do that over and over. No, that's not really. The butt pad does come off easy, but it's not something I want to do all the time. So if you're going to do any modifications to the inside of the shotgun, do those before you put the Mesa Tactical stock on there. Just make life so much easier that we won't have to worry about it after. So after you disassemble this thing, about a dozen times, replacing various things, it's actually not that difficult to take things apart. And I mean strip it down to, just nothing but a bunch of parts and springs and little tiny pins, which get lost everywhere, so buy extra. But you know, it's when people do the modifications, you don't need to send it to a gunsmith. There are videos out there. Watch the videos. Some of them go absolutely step by step. So just watch the videos. Be smart about it. You know, if you're going to be pulling these pins out, make sure you do it carefully and don't do it on a nice shag carpet because they're going to be gone. Not that I have shag carpet or lost any, but you know, just make sure that you're careful when you do that stuff. Because the last thing you want to do is screw up this nice, expensive shotgun. So, as we keep moving down, as you've seen on some of my other guns, I just like this little Punisher emblem. Put that on some of the guns that I have. Just a nice way to personalize it. We had these little stickers on the back as well. Used to go on my magazines, but then we were kind of prohibited from putting the stickers on things at work. So yeah, whatever. So it goes on the shotgun. So moving on down. Let's just start at the top here. Okay, I got a lot of mixed reviews on this. So yeah, we'll just keep that one up through this. I don't care if you don't like Trijicon. I can't imagine that you wouldn't, but this is the RMR by Trijicon. You probably know that. What I love about this is the dual illuminated version, so it is on pretty much all the time. There's no battery for you to replace. It comes out of the box, you put it on, it's already ready to go, sight it in, and you're done. At any time you can just pick up the shotgun and look through the sight, it's on. There's no buttons to push, no dials to turn. It's ready to go all the time, and I love that about this. It is, I think they say it's one of the lowest profile sights. Now, I did not want to go with the full witness riser on this. Yes, it does have ghost ring sights. They work fine, but I do like the target acquisition time with the RMR. That, you know, you just can't go wrong. It has a larger dot. I don't know what the MOA on that is. I think this one was 7 or 13. Honestly, I couldn't say offhand, but it is bigger than the normal red dots in the sights, so it makes it a little bit easier to acquire the target faster. It does adjust it to the ambient light in the room, so yes, if you go into a dark room, it dims it considerably. If you go outside, it brightens it considerably. So in any lighting condition, it's on, adjusted accordingly. So that is the perfect sight for probably any gun. But you know, in this case, I just like to have that on there in case I want to make some longer range shots or have a faster target acquisition. So not everybody agrees with that. Some people say, oh, I'd rather have a flat top. Yeah, okay, refer to my response section. So moving on down. It does have this nifty rest of the rail system. I don't know what else you would put on there. There's not a whole lot. Mesa Tactical does make a side saddle, but it would replace this, so you could do that. The shotgun itself is, it's got some weight to it already. I'm trying not to add that much more weight. Did do some upgrades, but I'm trying to limit the weight on there. Okay, just so you don't say anything. Yeah, okay. I know there are some things on here that add weight, so just bear with me. Before we get down to the end, you'll notice there are a couple things from TTI, Taran Tactical. They make some fantastic products. Go onto their website. Not only do they sell guns, they modify guns, and they sell some fantastic upgrades for the guns as well. So, charge and handle. They do sell larger ones, they do sell smaller ones. So what came on here was a little bit shorter, a little bit narrower around. This fits pretty good. This is about the width of your finger. It is beveled in the middle. I do like the feel of it. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's just about right. So that's one of the upgrades. The magazine, the bolt release. This is an absolute staple. I mean, if nothing else, if there's nothing else, you must get an enlarged bolt release. What comes on the shotgun is not even that. That's the bolt that holds it onto the little tiny notch. The button that you push to release the bolt is, it's probably a little bit bigger than that pin. it's so tiny. So mounting that on there is probably the toughest upgrade. Even though it looks very simple, it is one of the toughest upgrades because they send you the plate, they send you the screw, that's it. And it's up to you to have the tap and die set, and to have a vise, and to have the patience to use that tap and die set to make a screw hole into the middle of that bolt release, bolt, pin, whatever you want to call it. You don't really have any room. I'd say probably at best that pin is 1/4 inch. The screw itself is less than 1/8 of an inch, so you have zero clearance on all sides. So you have to make that, you have to use that tap and die and go straight down, absolutely straight down. You can't screw it up, because if you screw it up or you break it off into it, you're done. So that's very tedious to do. But when it's done, it's going to work perfectly, and then you could screw that right on. You could actually swap it out. I had a black one. I swapped it out for a purple one. Yeah, just give it a little bit more flashy bling bling. But yeah, out of all the things, that one is probably the most aggravating and tedious. But just remember, if you do it, you have one shot, unless you've decided to buy yourself another bolt release. So I would say right off the bat, go with that. Now at the bottom, it did swap out again from Taran Tactical, the lifter. Not a huge difference, but it is a little bit longer. It is polished. The shape of it's going to be relatively the same. Let's see if we can get a little closer on that. There we go. So it's not a big difference, but it's definitely smoother. It's definitely smoother than I don't get focused, than what it previously came as, and it's polished, so it does slide. Your fingers do slide. The rounds do slide a little bit easier on that. Now you will also notice that there was a little bit of work on the loading port. That's, in a way, that's kind of like a tattoo. Once you start it, you can't stop until you're finished. So if you decide to do that, watch some videos, research that. Don't just wing it, because if you screw that up, you're going to be really up a creek. I'm probably going to end up doing this over one more time just to bore it out a little bit more, but that's using a Dremel and grinding out the sides and the front and just opening this up, because the way it comes, it's just barely wide enough for your finger or whatever to get in there to load the rounds. So what you're doing is you're getting the inside and you're grinding the inside out, but then also at an angle on the corner, on the edge. So what you're doing is you're widening the loading port, and then at the end you're also doing the same thing, but you're taking material off, and ultimately you are opening this entire loading port area up, so that when you go to load, you can much more easily get your thumb in there and slide rounds in quicker. Otherwise you have one narrow valley to run them up, which leads to the next issue, which I can't show you because it's on the inside, but the shell stop on the inside is incredibly tight. I've had other shotguns before. I've never felt one like this before. So when you see people quad loading these, they've had a lot of modifications done to their shotgun. I will tell you that, because when you go to load a round, it is incredibly tight, very, very tight. You push it up there, it's very stiff. There are some modifications people have done to the shell stop. I'm leery about grinding that down, because once you grind it too far, then now you're really up a creek. So they say that over time, yes, it will wear down and it will get easier. So I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping that is the case. So far, after keeping rounds in there most of the times, it does get a little bit easier. I get a Remington 870, and when I go to take rounds out, hey, cool, you pop one side, you pop the other, and the rounds just pop out. This is not like that. If you need to take the rounds out, you've got to push down incredibly hard on the shell stop on the inside, and then it takes a little bit of jiggling to get the rounds out, so they do not just pop out. It is definitely not like the 870. The 870 sweet. Yeah, you could just slide the rounds right in, no problem. But this, yeah, pretty stiff on that. So moving on down. Now the original foregrip that came with it, it's fine. There are some stippling jobs that you can do to it. I know Taran Tactical has an excellent stippling job that they do to theirs. They even have, I think, some how-tos and some guides online on how to do it. I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy that does the stippling, so I looked for some options. Now, there's not a lot of options out there if you are looking to have a foregrip that allows you to have accessories. Not that I have any accessories on here, but I like to have options. So this is going to utilize the M-Lock system, so you can add things to it if you want. This is by Stryke Industries. Stryke Industries also makes various other products. They make that curved grip that you may have seen on the PDX that I have. A lot of their products are weapon specific, so they're made for specific weapons. So something that goes on the 870 is not going to just interchange and go on this. So, but they do have a lot of products for the Benelli. So check them out. I don't believe this was very unreasonable. It's probably 100, maybe a little over $100. So not that bad. It's aluminum. It's very lightweight. One drawback we'll mention, the one thing that I don't really care for, but it's kind of a necessary evil, is in order to install it, you have a couple tension bolts, 2 on the back and 2 on the front. So when you actually go to put those on, you can't really see the back, you can see the ones in the front. When you go to put those on, you are going to tighten those down so that it doesn't move. It's good and bad. It's good that it keeps it tight, except when you go to take the barrel out, yeah, that's going to be an issue. You're going to have to loosen those up in order to take everything off. Not a huge deal, but you know, it's just keep that in mind. So that's why we do the video. So moving on down to the rest of it. Now here's where people are going to start cackling. So yeah, just there you go. Read it twice. Okay. Flashlight. Some people say, I don't like your flashlight. It's a cheap flashlight. Yep, it is. It's an Amazon special. It's like $30. The mount was probably another few bucks. I'm looking for something to go on the shotgun so that if I need to use it in the dark, I can turn it on. Is this combat proven? No. Has it worked so far and not blown out while I shoot? Yep. Is it bright? Yep. Do you push the button and it comes on? Yep. I have a Surefire on the other weapon. I have various flashlights on other guns. They all work great. Guess what? This works fine too. Would I like to have a Surefire on this? Yeah, sure. Would I like to have the the extender tube on this on the shotgun? Sure. I'm not made of money, so sorry. Just you already spent enough on the shotgun and the other accessories. We got to draw the line somewhere. Somewhere down the road, maybe I'll get a flashlight for this from Surefire. Maybe. I can't foresee that happening anytime soon. Same with the magazine. The shotgun itself holds 4 rounds plus 1 in the tube. No, I don't ghost load them. One round's not going to make the big difference to me. So, I mean, this is a shotgun. If I haven't made a difference in 5 rounds, then there's a problem. So trust me, when this thing goes off, 5 rounds go off in less than 2 seconds. If the person's not hit or running away or whatever it is you're shooting at, what's the extra round? What's that really going to matter? Not to mention, if you want an extra round, put a match saver on there. Just slide it right in. But yeah, I believe the magazine extension tube is a couple $100. I would rather not just have the extension. I'd rather have one solid magazine tube. So I just don't want it to look like I added it on. So, like I said, not everybody's going to agree with some of the upgrades on this, such as flashlight and that and some other things, but this is mainly if you're in the market for Benelli M4. Hope this hope this was a little bit enlightening for you, so you could at least see some of the upgrades that are available, and know about some of the some of the negatives to some of the things. So if you have any comments or concerns, I'm not really interested in hearing that you could have gotten another shotgun and all this stuff, and why'd you put all that stuff in there? Save it. Again, just doing a video review just so that you can get a better idea of what the Benelli's like. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.